I look crazy. My God Almighty, forever be exalted on earth as is in heaven. Alright, hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Beverly. So basically I'm here with a quick video for you today, and this video is inspired by a couple of discussions that I've had with younger people. When I say younger people, I mean people who are younger than me. I guess this could be a Young Christian Struggles part of the Young Christian Struggles series. I haven't filmed a Young Christian Struggle video for the longest, and that's simply because, you know, God just be doing what he be doing, and when you need to back up and be thought, you gotta back up and be thought. You feel me? Anyways, so there's this ongoing struggle when I'm talking to young people. There's this ongoing struggle that I keep hearing coming up again. People are telling me I'm tired. They're saying I'm just at this point where I'm just like, I'm tired. And it took me a while to hear it a couple of times for me to understand that, yo, I was there a couple of months before, not a couple of months, a couple of years before now. I was there. And so I identify so much with people saying they're tired. I identify so much with people saying they're tired of the waves of religion. They've tried everything. They've done everything they thought they could do. They went to the prayers. They did the fasting. They did everything they thought they could do. They prayed so many times against this sin, but they are tired. And I understand it. And I'm like, that I really get that. Like, that was me. There was a point of time in my life where I became very, very tired. I became depressed. I was just like, you know, around the time when I was doing makeup on YouTube. Around that time afterwards, I became tired because it's like everything I tried just wasn't working. Like, I tried to make a name for myself. I tried to make a brand for myself. Like, yo, I'm about to make it on YouTube. I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to be a makeup artist. I'm going to be able to buy my own house. I'm going to be able to go to dental school, because at that point, that was my plan. I wanted to go to dental school. I'm like, I'm going to go to dental school. I'm going to be balling. And then a lot of it came from my own hurt and pain. I said, you know, when I start balling, then they'll see, then they'll like me, then they'll want me, all this other stuff, my own hurt and pain. And then I tried everything I could, and it just would not work. And that's one of the things I'm here to tell you. Some of your business ventures, some of the things that you want to do, some of your degrees that you're pursuing, some of the jobs that you're trying to get, they're not working because they're not in God's will. That God does not want you to do it. God did not want me to become a makeup artist. So every single thing that I was doing was failing, and I got tired. I got so tired, I took it personal. I'm like, yo, nothing I can do is ever going to be good enough. Nothing I can do is ever going to work. Everything I try is going to fail. I'm a failure, right? Nobody likes Beverly, right? I felt tired. And then I came to a point where I was depressed when it came to friendships. That was one of the main factors that caused me to be depressed. Like, I could not have a friend for the life of me. Like, I felt alone, right? And the reality is I was chasing people to fill a void that only God could fill for me. God had to bring me to this point where he detached me from people. He took away all my friends, all my connections. I didn't have a squad at that point. I became very tired. And so I understand what it feels like to be at a point where and then mind you, in the midst of all of this, I still wanted God, right? I know what it feels like to come to that point where it's like you tried everything and you got so many other factors going on and you want God. You've tried to go separate. You try to cut everything off and then just be quiet, and then it's just me and God, and I'm just going to keep this Bible near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to shut it all off. You tried to do that, but then you didn't stay there. You got up and you left because that wasn't working. Because reading your Bible every day wasn't working. It wasn't giving you the results that you wanted fast enough. Praying every day wasn't working. It wasn't giving you the results that you wanted fast enough. Being separate from this world wasn't working. It wasn't giving you the results that you wanted fast enough. Without you understanding that every single time you go to the feet of of the Father and you pray, he is hearing you. Every single time I prayed, he heard me. When I was crying my eyes out, asking him to forgive me, to change me, to remove the chains of this sin that I was going through, he took it off of me. I'm free from that sin now, right? He heard me. He heard me, but I didn't know that he was hearing me. I got up off the floor and then I landed right back into my mess, not knowing that he had a plan of salvation for me. Right? And so we get tired by what we can see. We get tired because we're going against God's will. We get tired because we want what we want. But let me tell you something. When we go into the Bible, and if you look at the Gospels, before most deliverance, what comes? Desperation. The people became desperate. And if you look at the deliverance that's happening in the Bible, when you look at the blind men, how Jesus gives the blind sight, how Jesus stopped the woman from bleeding, right? How Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. These miracles are not just here for you to say, oh, well, God is going to give you prosperity. God's going to do this. God is going to raise up that dead business in your life. Stop it. That's not what it's for. These miracles are here to tell you, to testify by the glory of God on the cross, the glory of God, the glory that can happen in you, that he is here to raise up a people. He is here to take your dead soul and put life into it. He is here to remove religious blindness, your soul that was blind, you who are blinded by religion. He's here to give you sight. You who are in bondage to sin. The lady was bleeding for about 12 years in bondage to sin. It's a manifestation of sin in the flesh. These sicknesses that you saw in the New Testament, they're a manifestation of sin in the flesh. And you see Jesus comes and he touches the lady. He speaks a word and the person is set free. God is telling you that you can be free from sin in the flesh. He is telling you that you can be free from the bondage of sin. That's what these miracles are here for. But let me tell you something. Before these miracles, what happened? Desperation came. Let's look at it. Desperation came. Desperation came. They were desperate. Luke chapter 8, right? Luke chapter 8, verse 43, with the lady who was bleeding for about 12 years, right? I believe it was 12 years. And a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years, but no one could heal her. She came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak, and immediately her bleeding stopped. She was desperate. She was bleeding. She went into the crowd, bleeding. This was probably a lady that needed to be ostracized. She went into that crowd and she touched him. She was desperate, right? Let's go to the next example. Mark 10:47. This is Bartimaeus. In Korea we call him Bartimaeus, so I'm gonna call him Bartimaeus, okay? So 47. Let's pick it up from 46. Then they came to Jericho as Jesus and his disciples, together with a large crowd, were leaving the city. A blind man, Bartimaeus, which means son of Timaeus, was sitting by the roadside begging. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout, "Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me." 48. Many rebuked him and told him to be quiet, but he shouted all the more, "Son of David, have mercy on me." Desperation, right? These people were desperate. Many rebuked him. They told him, "Get out of here." Mind you, he's blind. He can't even see. Right? They told him, "Get out of here. Be quiet. Stop talking." He said, "Son of David, have mercy on me." They kept going. They kept pushing. They were desperate. Now, let me tell you why desperation is so important. Here's the thing. In the garden, what happened is man exalted themselves above God. Man basically said, "I am my own God. I don't really need God," right? I want God's deity. And throughout the history of the world, you see this sin being remanifested and remanifested. People wanting the deity of God, wanting the deity of Christ. Now, here's the thing. God needs you to understand that you are not deity. You are not God. He is God. You need to lower yourself. You need to get desperate. You need to give up that deity, give up that pride, give up that crown, and lower yourself and submit to the King. You have to die to yourself, which is the reason why throughout your life you are dying to yourself because you wanted to rule yourself. It's in the propensity of man to want to rule themselves. It is in the propensity of man to want to be the king of themselves. In these examples, you see that these people, they lower themselves. They lower themselves and they give themselves up to God and they say, you are my king. And that is the reason why you're getting so tired. God is in the process of saving you. It is not the time for you to give up. It is the time for you to get desperate and for you to get real. Get real with him. It's time for you to get real. It's time for you to get desperate. To understand that you ain't got no other hope. The sin is what caused them to suffer like this. Sin is what's causing you to suffer. Sin is what's causing everything in your life to be a failure. Sin is what's causing you to live the way that you are living. Sin is what's causing you to suffer like this. When I was suffering, when I was disconnected from God and I wanted God, I was seeking him. I became desperate. Just when I thought I was desperate, he made me even more desperate. When I thought I was as desperate as I could be, he said, now you could get a little lower. Now I could crush you a little more. Right? So that's what he did through my depression. He was crushing me. Through everything, he was crushing me. And that's what's happening now with a lot of our youth. You are being crushed and you have to allow him to crush you. You have to give up this deity. Give up yourself. Stop trying to rule yourself. Stop trying to dictate your own life. Desperation oftentimes comes before deliverance. Because we must submit to the king. If we're going to be a part of this kingdom, he is the king. You have to submit. You cannot be walking around with your own will. And oftentimes the chaos in your life is only because he's crushing you, because you need to submit. The chaos in your life is God telling you, you need me. You need me, now get desperate. You need me, now lower yourself. It is not the time to give up and throw in the towel, because that's what the devil wants you to do. He wants to finish you off. He wants you to get tired. Salvation is here. It's ready. It's available. God is on the other side. He's coming. You hold on and understand that before every great miracle, there's a period of tests and trials. There's a period of desperation. You must lower yourself. When you thought you are as low as you could be, you can get lower. And I tell you that because I know from experience. So I thought I was as low as I could be. He brought me lower. And then he revealed himself to me. So that's what you got to calm down. Keep the faith. Christ is coming. Christ is coming. He didn't forget about you. He didn't, oh, I'll get to her later. I'll get to him later. No, he's saving you. He's breaking you. He's going to use you. You got to stay at his feet. It's hard. This is not easy. Dying to self is not easy. Being broken is not easy. And guess what? We're saved through the grace of God. It is God's grace that is breaking you right now to bring you to a point of desperation that is going to then bring you to a point to see that you need a savior. So he is doing it from the beginning to the end so that you cannot say that I just got desperate and then so I lowered myself and then God saved me because of what I did. No, he did it all. All this trauma in your life, all this chaos in your life is him invoking and influencing and pushing that desperation in you, bringing you to that desperate place so that he can then save you out of it. He's bringing you there. The lady was bleeding for 12 years. Why? Because God allowed it. Because God knew he was going to come save her. The man was blind on his life. Why? Because Christ allowed it. There is even a part, I believe it was in another miracle. He said this was for the glory of God. Because he knew he was going to come and save them. There's a reason why these things are happening in your life. Because God is going to move on your behalf. He's going to move not to give you a fancy car. Not to make things all great. Not to give you that fancy degree. But to save your soul. So, keep the faith. Until next time. See y'all next time.